Everybody, we are loaded into our first match here in this matchup between Praxis and Orison. I am OutcastAndrew, and we are in for our next best of 5. I have a brand new, wonderful caster joining me on the casting desk. Everybody say hello. Jules, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. We are already in Chase Andrew on the Midwich Elementary School and probably heading straight for the God Palette. I would expect this to be dropped given it is an Oni, and we do not want to give away power too fast, and it is. And that is Alan Wake heading into the courtyard area, already seeing a survivor on the gen. That's a Remo with about 20% progress, but the Oni actually choosing to leave and find somebody else for now. But we do have a special rule today for this first set. The killer must bring one undetectable perk, and in this case, they have chosen Trail of Torment. So that's going to be Trail of Torment applied on that generator, and we're out looking for another survivor and maybe another hit.
So interesting to note, this is Team Praxis, which is some very, very notable players that a lot of you will notice. Obviously, we have Zaka on the Oni currently. Looks like we dropped Chase there. We have Zaka on the Oni here. I'll maybe save some introductions for later, but we have some very, very notable, very world-class DBD players on Team Praxis. Orison is Orison. Sorry, I apologize. They qualified in our qualifier, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do. Again, I said this last time, if I was a betting man, obviously the advantage goes to Praxis. But that being said, do not count out these survivors. They are doing a great job so far, delaying this first hit. Midwich is an interesting map for the Oni here. Obviously, not a map you'd normally see the Oni on, but with the Trail of Torment perk, it is going to make it a little spooky. Oni could come out of anywhere, and we'll have to see if we can get that first hit soon. Survivors seem to be taking it really slowly here, Jules.
Yeah, there was Trail of Torment on that generator for a while, and I think they were playing it kind of like you would expect the Ghostface set to be played out, right? You don't really work gens, you don't really move until you have line of sight, or at least an idea of the general killer location, and that's going to be probably a balance landing coming out from Jerry. Yeah, it does use the balance landing to get some distance. Probably would have had to play 50s there if not, but we do kind of make it to this room. Bloodlust is available to us, and I think that's going to be the first hit as a result. Yes, there's the first injury on to our Renato Lyra. We are going to be heading down the hallway. We know both of the God pallets have already been dropped, so he's kind of running into an area with some more unsafe pallets than before. Still does have this pallet in this room here, and we're going to be playing it now. But yeah, with that first hit coming through, this is kind of the momentum that Zaka needed to get this game started.
This pallet is one of the safer, not safe pallets. It looks like Jur's gonna make it all the way back downstairs again. This pallet's gone. We're not gonna make that window. I think this is gonna be our first down here. Wow, really good pathing. There's not a whole lot to work with here. And again, Zaka swinging for the fences, and finally 3 hits. And now we're gonna see it. We're gonna see Eruption go off on a couple generators there. You can see a lot of progress stop, but we've got 3. I think that's 3 different generators. Yeah, that's 3 different generators about to pop. Really good job. So, if you're just joining us for this matchup, I've kind of pointed out often what you'll see with like the best teams in the world, even when things aren't going their way, even when they need stealth and whatnot, you will absolutely see good. Wow, 1, 2, 3, let's go. You will see some great gen progression, great gen pressure, great efficiency is the word I'm looking for. And even when things aren't going right, even when hits are coming in, hooks are coming in, you see that gen progress, and that's exactly what we've seen from Orison here. And 3 gens pop with 1 hook. This is looking really good for our potential underdog. I should stop saying underdog. Like obviously, the qualifiers are being highlighted here for their fantastic work they've done in a lot of our community cups and whatnot. So Unhook comes in here, and we're going to continue the chase.
Getting some info on our survivors with our perk there. We haven't popped power yet. I think we were kind of waiting for someone to come into our 3-gen. I must add, that is a bit of a 3-gen. At the top left side of the map, we do find our Alan Wake. I wonder if we're going to be popping power now or sometime soon, but actually just choosing to take an M1. He does use Lithe to get some distance away. Kind of towards the bottom side of the map, and look at that, Oni hot in pursuit with power. Might be choosing to drop now and head down the hallway. But we do see our Hanato healed up in the meantime on the HUD. Dwight kinda caught out now in the middle of the room and might be getting another M1. Yeah, Zaka just holding his power, waiting for the right moment. I think he might wanna be getting a down in his gen spread. Both of these survivors so far have been very far away from the 3 gen. There could be another reason he's choosing to hang on to the power, but that is what I expect. And is gonna be going back now, maybe popping power. It just has some nice pressure spread out and scratch marks here too, and this is a survivor in the 3 gen now. If we get a down here, that would be much better for Sokka, I think. Ace instantly dropping that pallet, trying to play it safe, but it is an Oni in power. This is gonna be tough.
So, unfortunately, yeah, eventually you're going to lose a 50-50 there. What I was going to say about what they were doing too, I think that every time he would roll up on a survivor, it was the take the M1 or they're going to make a window, they're going to make a pallet, they're going to get out of here. So I agree with what you were saying about keeping them in the hooked in your generators, but also I just think it was a matter of necessity. I think that I think that realistically, it just didn't, like, you know, that last hit on Jer, I think it was, if you pop power, they make the pallet, you might not get the hit. Versus if and you know, and then you're wasting power, you're wasting time. Eventually you get a hit, but I think Zaka might have been just looking for a guarantee. And yeah, they saw came around a corner, saw Arima down the end of a straightaway hallway with not a whole lot to work with. They played one pallet and got the down. We are holding steady here at 2 generators. Decent amount of progress on this one. We're going to apply Eruption and Trail of Torment. Now, this is where it gets scary. We pop power. We are stealth. And also, like, so now the survivor who was on that generator might not be able to go back right away to take away Trail of Torment. And that's going to be a down. Oh, my goodness. Great flick there. Zaka gets the, you know, about a 90-degree flick there. Great job in, what if you're from, oh my goodness, and here we go again. Okay, we're going to get the borrowed time hit on Arima, but not the down, thankfully, on Ionet there. And we're seeing Arima here might go down again quickly. Yes, smart play by our survivors. Take the Oni out of power, stop this snowball immediately, and let's just give a second hook. Really, really well done. A little accidental, that's not going to get up. Did we get the hit? That wasn't, okay, no hit came through. And smash hit value, so we got a little bit of speed running away there, Jules. Really exciting match going on right now.
Yeah, that poor Manu, by the way. That was the survivor that got down by the Oni, undetectable, full in power, zooming at you. That's terrifying. Manu does go down again at the top side of the map, and Arima on second stage now does just take the hook here, trying to go for some extra stages across our survivors, maybe keeping the blood. Or at least a nice supply of blood for later, and that's going to be another gen popping. I believe that was Jer popping that gen. He's the only survivor unaccounted for, as Dwight did just get the unhook here. And yeah, I'm going to be taking chase now, actually. This is our balanced landing survivor. He is going to be going upstairs, maybe playing it a bit safe. I don't think we're committing here, though. Trying to go back towards the generators, get some more blood, which we do know is probably in this room somewhere, as the 2 survivors did just get unhooked and we're healing up. There isn't too much blood though. They did heal up quite fast after the unhook. And at any moment we do have that ultimate weapon available again. So Zaka just knows where the survivors are at all times, basically, because of that one perk, and Midway is such a small map that it's so much easier to get their locations. This is gonna be such a hard 3-gen to break, especially if you get power, but the survivors doing a good job of keeping him barely out of power. He does have a few more blood orbs, and that barely missed, by the way, Andrew. The finesse coming through, saving him from that hit. And we once again are in power, so kind of terrifying.
You love to see a finesse that works out. Really interesting note I want to point out for people who may not be aware. So with the whole good flick there, and Arima's going to be dead, Eruption goes off. We did stop the Trail of Torment, but yeah, we're going to be down to 3v1 with 1 gen left. Sorry, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by Oni going ham on a survivor. With the update that the Behavior put out recently, where they were going to do the anti-tunnel, anti-slug, and then they reverted a lot of it, some of the changes that they made stayed through, and one of those changes was that when Oni gets a hook, they get 5 orbs now as opposed to the old 2. So that's actually a really big buff for Oni. When we hooked in this room earlier, we got 5 orbs and we came back, and that helped us get that power again. So even though everybody is we are in power and everybody's healthy right now, every hook is going to get us a little bit closer to getting power. We're gonna take advantage of our ultimate weapon here and run around, see if we can't find one of these survivors. I love that! Oh my goodness, good play there by I believe that was Manu. Great play, but the pallet does go down. Zaka not anticipating the dodge and does the flick. Unfortunately, getting caught up against the wall here. This is Oni things. You got to really. Sometimes when you dash, you really have to angle your body so you can get around corners. And great job here, man. This is not a very safe pallet. Okay, yeah, we're running into a wall, and yeah, good. There you go. That's exactly what I was talking about. Where you have to be dashing in one direction, but you have to be able to be facing the right direction. You know, the turning is better than a Billy, but it's still not great. So, great mechanical play there by Zaka to get that down. We're gonna get another hook here. That's gonna be second hook on Manu, and the other two are doubling that generator. This is looking like this could go either way here, Jules. We could get a 4K1, or we could end up getting some outs, or at least the generator done. It's gonna be very, very close for both teams here.
Yeah, one of these survivors has to rotate either through the courtyard or from the right side of the map to get this unhook, and Dwight is the one pressuring the generator in the meantime. It's about 50%, yeah, and not rotated right through the courtyard. So Manu is safe off of the hook, but Zaka knows this gen is kind of high progress. It's a little bit threatening now, I think, as our 3 gen was pretty secure earlier, but with that double up, very good job by the survivors, by the way, to double up that generator. And oh my god, the Oni coming around the corner completely undetectable is a little bit of a jump scare, even though you know he's coming, right? And that will be another hit onto Dwight. Yeah, Yona kind of taking it bottom side is going to be going. I think we're committing, actually. Yeah, we're going to be committing, actually dropping down into the bottom floor and maybe heading back towards the gen. Was worried now that the survivors have healed up fully that they will be doubling out a generator, which they are. And yeah, Jared there with some good info, getting the LOS of the Oni coming down the hallway, and Zaka has some good info too. He has info of his own with the ultimate weapon once again, and power. It's just an endless supply of power. It seems this is kind of a dead zone, a little bit. There's a lot of pallets gone. The god pallet's gone. The pallets in the room topside are gone. So the survivors just have to do a good job of pre-running and pre-leaving and pre-stealthing, but it's so hard, and that is going to be an excellent flick onto Manu. That's a 2v1, Andrew.
That's a 2v1. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. I can't hold back my excitement. For people who don't know, everybody, I'm an Oni main. I'm a very big fan of Oni in comp, and watching flicks like that where you fake one way and go the other way. Great fault there, manages to get away. Still a lot of progress on these generators. Anyways, yeah, seeing flicks like that where they, you look like you're going through the pallet, they drop the pallet, you come around and you 180 on top of the pallet. It just, I can't hold back my excitement. So you're gonna have to pardon my gasp while you're talking because it's just too much for my old man heart. We are down to a 2v1. This is looking like 4K1 territory, but there's a lot of gen progress. This isn't over yet. Unfortunately, Ionut is going to be basically permanently bleeding at this point. We're not going to see a heal come through, especially with the fact that we're, Ultimate Weapon's going to be able to track down people as best we can anywhere. We're going to see, I don't know. I think I would have lockered up there. Oh, what's happening? Never mind. We're wasting all the time. But now we're going to get that. Yeah, I don't know. I might have lockered up there. So to force the pull, but it looks like we ran out of power anyway, it sounds like, because we're dashing. That was a dash sound. Never mind. I heard Oni kind of grunt, and there's various different Oni grunts, and I mixed up my Oni grunts. Anyways, we are looking around trying to find Jer. This is looking like it's over, but there is a world where we pick up Ionut and we manage to get a little bit more progress. The curse of eruption, Jules. Every time you kick that generator, you get 2 regression events when they get the down in the end. This is the problem right here. As soon as we hear that scream.
One other problem with this. Okay, we do get the pickup. Good on the survivors for that. But this 3-gen, one of our only 2 survivors remaining is our balanced landing survivor, and all 3 of these generators are on the bottom floor. So you can't use balanced landing at all. Very unfortunate for our Hanato. But yeah, we're getting power again. It's a 2v1. Dwight is still bleeding. They can't even heal up without Zaka finding them, so that blood supply is going to be very thorough, but we're going to be looking for them kind of bottom side, maybe just cleaning up the generators, getting some kicks. I actually wonder if that gen is very, very close to maximum regression kicks, but Zaka wants to get his power back. Actually just choosing to let the survivors heal up in exchange for getting his power. But, I mean, it's kinda worth it. This is gonna be a bit of a slower game because of that, but it also means the survivors have very little chance of popping the gens because Sokka has proven himself as an Oni in power and will be very difficult for the survivors to break that, especially with constant Trail of Torment up, it seems. Sokka's just been refreshing that over and over again. Um, and yeah, we know our 2 survivors healed up, bottom side away from the generators, and they're kind of stealthing their way over now, trying to get back on the gens, maybe not too sure where Zaka
Uh-oh.
is yet, so they're waiting for eyes.
Zaka walking down the hallway and looking up, it's like, I smell a rat. Like just looking up and maybe hearing some footsteps above them. This is like actually hilarious. Yeah, this is terrifying. So they managed, it looks like they managed to stop the progression. I think you're right, by the way. When we walked by, we slid facing that generator. That generator can't be kicked anymore. Now, Zaka knows it, because Zaka, first of all, Zaka absolutely would have kicked it by now. Zaka knows it, so Zaka is going to be leaning a little bit. It's going to be a lot harder to work on that generator than others. Lost track of the survivor here. Was that the bounce landing, like you said? Was that Renato? No stealth from the Trail of Torment right now. So we are going to hear him coming. Oh no. With ultimate weapon! No! I was going to say, we're running a perk that makes it likely we're going to open a locker, and unfortunately, gift-wrapped Iona was right in there, and now we're looking rough. This has been so solid by the survivors to stay in this, but it might be all she wrote at this point, Jules.
Yeah, yeah, and there's the info we needed to get the last survivor's location. He's gonna be kinda trying to run down the hallway, maybe a little taunting for a second, is gonna be taking the final chase of the game. We do have balance letting available to us now. Is gonna be instantly using it just to wrap around on the bottom hallway, and yeah, taking chase at this window. This door has already been broken, so this will be a hit, most likely. We do have this one window to play, but this is a very, very unsafe little window here, and yeah, we'll be getting a hit now. That god pallet there in the infirmary has already been dropped earlier in the match. I think in our first chase, actually, a very, very early drop. But I mean, Oni in power now. Jer doing his best to stay alive, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. But still fun to watch. Still fun to watch the little Oni in power 1v1. Always fun to see. And that is a dead room. He has to stay here. Can we flick around this?
So
Maybe. Ooh.
Oh, that was so funny. Sorry, just looking in that room and just like you can just see the oh, it's that room.
Yeah,
around and comes back to the pallet. That was so funny. I loved it. Zaka's doing Zaka. You know what? Style points to Jer there. Jer won that chase.
Oh, no way! That actually worked. No way. Oh my goodness, he's actually doing a very good job, but he's gonna be stuck in the corner. The slow turn to down our Renato at the end of the trial. And we hear the hatch spawn, but that's gonna be a Mori, regardless. He's dying right next to the hatch.
That was pure cinema. What a great last chase. What a great match on both sides. Like very, very clean play by Zaka. Some good strategy, really holding onto the power, really, waiting till the optimal times to use it. Again, I think in the beginning there, it was a combination of both what you and I said. Part, I'm not going to get the down because they're going to make a pallet. So I'll get the blood on the map by hitting somebody. And part also, I want to get it down in the right spot. So I'll save my power to really, that 3-gen on the ground floor was really, really useful. But also the survivors, just fantastic play, really good time, like a long time between, so many times you'll see Oni and us casters will say, now it's really important not to take the first hit on Oni too fast. And then somebody gets hit through a pallet almost immediately. And you see that snowball start right at the very beginning. It doesn't happen all the time, but it happens frequently enough that, I've had my fair share of laughs on the caster desk. But yeah, survivors did a really good job. And even in the 2v1, so really well played by Orison. And yeah, we're going to be seeing their killer come in right now. Do you think we're going to see a different perk build, or do you think we're going to see something similar? What's your take on maybe that build and what to expect?
I mean, trails seem to work so well, right? Trail had them having to, I don't know, I guess camp god palettes, camp corners, play super, super safe every time Trail was activated and you don't have eyes on the Oni. It kind of turns the set into such a dangerous set, right? Oni typically a low stage killer on a more common map, maybe an outdoor map, but on the Midwich, he gets a little bit tough. especially when he's in power and has no tear radius. It's just very, very difficult. And I think the survivors have to acclimate to that, right? So Trail, I think, would be my personal preference, but we'll have to see what our killer brings in. That's kind of why I love AHL, right? You have these strange rule sets, these strange maps, and it's fun to see, I guess, new stealth killers. I know Oni's not typically a stealth killer, but he definitely becomes one in this particular set. So yeah, we're gonna have to see that. We're gonna have tech on that killer, I believe. For Team Orison, so that will be fun to watch. But yeah, Team Praxis on the Survivor end. Hopefully we'll see what they do, and hopefully they don't get a 3-gen for their sake. But for Orison's sake, I hope they do. So it really depends on what on the midway challenge either. But that 3-gen in the previous match was rough, rough, rough. Very, very rough.
4K1 is I mean, like, given the rules, it's hard to know, right? It's hard to go, well, this is what expected. There is no expected when you're talking about stealth Oni in Midwich Elementary School, right? So it's really hard to tell what is and isn't expected. But I would say 4K1 was a pretty strong result for both the killer and the survivor. I would call that very sort of, I would, we'll find out after this match, but I would say that's pretty middle of the road. I feel like that's sort of the, it could have gone better for killer. It could have gone better for survivor, but I think that all in all, both sides can be pretty happy with what they, with how they performed. It's interesting. So again, going back to that rule set, let's just really talk about that for a second. Just so again, I know that, when you're watching from home, it's a little bit hard to maybe keep track of what's going on. So the Oni has one required perk. It's one of 3 stealth perks. I do think Trail of Torment is the strongest, given the buffs. It was a long time ago at this point, but given the more recent buff of Trail of Torment, the cooldown and the duration, because it used to only last until the first down. Now it lasts until you stop the regression, I believe. Overture of Doom is going to leave your terror radius on a generator that's being worked. That is the furthest from the totem. But the problem with that one is they can break the totem. So that's interesting. Like, that's a stealth perk that can go away. And then the other one is Unforeseen, which is interesting because you can leave your terror radius behind on a generator and they can't stop it, but it has a set duration. So I think Trail of Torment is the strongest because obviously there's the downside of the survivors can instantly get back on the generator and end your undetectable, but it also can last for as long as the gen's regressing, right? So it's definitely going to come down to preference. I'm interested to see which one the killer picks here. Yeah, it very, very. I love these sets too, Jules. Earlier we had a Bubba set where it was you had to bring Ruin or Overture, and you couldn't break totems. So we had Devour Hope on both, and you just can't break totems. So it's pretty fun. We are loading in here though. We have is that tech on the Oni, and the survivors of Praxis, Laser, V1, Zaka, and Ward. Some very familiar names, Jules.
Ooh, we actually have chosen to run Overture of Doom. I know you quickly explained what that was, but another reminder, it sets your tear radius onto the curse generator. It's a 32-meter tear radius, and you, of course, lose your tear radius, and we already have the God Palette dropping, Laser instantly dropping that God Palette. I think it got dropped instantly in the last match too, so neither team has the God Palette, and Ace here screaming a bit, gonna be taking chase now instead. So both survivors running down this hallway now, trying to avoid the first hit, heading towards the top side, and we do see some pretty unsafe pallets in this area now, but ooh, that's Overture of Doom activating now on a generator somewhere. We are undetectable and maybe trying to find a survivor. It actually kind of worked on Ace, Zaka here, but he does have a pallet here. We'll be dropping. If that was any sooner he ran into that hallway, it would have been a hit, but he barely makes it to that pallet and is going to be taking chase once again.
Very smart play there by Tech. Actually just like saw that they went undetectable, which by the way, it's sometimes hard to tell. There's no notification a lot of times. The thing pops up on your screen and you may not notice it. Yeah, pretends to leave Zaka and then heads back to see Zaka. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that didn't hit, and Zaka not only gets a stun but gets a smash hit, so we're gonna get a lot of distance here. This is a bit rough for our killer. Yeah, so basically we are undetectable again because we're still repairing this generator. It goes on a cooldown, so after it's been repaired for 5 seconds, the generator gets your tear radius, which by the way, in public matches is hilarious because you suddenly get suddenly you got a massive terror radius on you when you're just doing a generator. You're like, where's the killer? What's going on? Anyways, terror radius gets split to. Oh, that's Alliance, isn't that? Blocking that generator, right? Yeah, okay, interesting. We've seen some interesting perks come through. Scene Partner and Repressed Alliance. So we're looking for, I think we're lockered up, are we not? Did we drop?
Our Claudette had balanced landing, so most likely dropped.
Okay.
I didn't see her POV, but that's my best guess there. I did see her perks, so we do see a lot of progress on the Shen. We are still undetectable for a few more milliseconds, and that is going to be undetectable over now. Of course, we are in the survivor site, so we know where they are regardless. But Laser taking chase now, kind of on this unsafe dropped pallet. We do have Finesse and Light, though, getting us away from that area, and do cut off, but don't manage to get the hit in time. We do have another pallet to chain it into, so Laser doing a very good job of chaining these pallets together, but all our killer has to do is bloodlust, and eventually he has to lose a 50, right? Surely.
In theory.
Is that it? Is that it? Yeah, that's gonna be the first hit coming through.
It is Laser, but in theory he will lose it.
In theory. Yeah. Heading towards 6th side, we do have a pallet dropped here already, so no pallet in the infirmary there, but our power is now up. This becomes a much more dangerous match for our survivors, I think.
So going back, not to be the official spokesperson for Overture of Doom, once the generator is completed, it switches to the next furthest generator from the totem. The interesting thing about that is the survivors will have a basic idea of where the totem is, because they know, hey, okay, we're on this generator. When Overture of Doom goes on this generator, which it looks like it just did, this generator being that yellow one there, when it goes off on that generator, you know that the totem is the furthest generator from the totem, so they may be able to track it down. Now, interesting enough, I don't know if you mentioned, I apologize, but we also have Hex Plaything we need it down right now. Looks like he's behind us. No, maybe not. In front of us. Yeah, I think he cornered up and went. Yeah. We are down to 2 gens, and we have it yet to have it down. Good corner up again by Ward. If we can get it down here, this will be huge, and we do. Good job. Okay. What if we can maybe get a decent hook near some generators? This could pay off. Plaything is going to add to that. Not only kind of mask your totem, but also add to that sort of unpredictable, scary, where the heck is this big scary man with a bonk coming around the corner. So that was a 4-minute and 10-second down, Jules.
Where is the big scary man with a bonk? Is that what you?
With a bonk. He bonks you.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, that is Plaything. Like he said, Laser aware of the Plaything now. He is sniffing it out a little bit, but isn't able to cleanse it. And we do see Ace once again screaming in the courtyard. Aren't gonna be coming to him. We do see Hanato here, heading up to the top floor, but I think that also leaves the pull free for our Ace, and he's gonna be heading into that. Oh, Laser does not get that drop. Takes an M1. Tried to stun, but it is same thing, but that would have been a crazy stun if we got it. That would have been the cleanest ping I've ever seen. So we do get that hit coming through. Oni drops to the bottom floor now and is going to be possibly chasing the survivors who were recently unhooked, trying to get some blood. He does have power now, so once again a dangerous game. But we're playing for a 4K0 here for the survivors, and we're playing for a 4K2 if you're tech, and that is the tie condition as I speak. So will be a tie at least, looking kind of in the survivors' favor given they only have 1 hook stage. But I mean, tech could make something happen, but he has to make it happen now. And oh my goodness, Ace jump scare on that pallet there in the hallway. If he doesn't get this down, it'll be very hard to get a tie, I think, Andrew.
That was sorry. That actually scared me. Oh, we got 2 survivors in here though. Like, this is looking really rough for Tech and Team Orison, but like, did he just pick up that pallet? No, crazy. Never mind, I'm crazy. In the corner of my eye, it looked like the pallet raised up, and for some reason I thought that they had the fastest any means necessary ever, but it wasn't. I'm cooked. Anyways, yeah, this is looking pretty rough. Really good. I think a pretty fair start. Sort of setting up the map for Tech. He had a pretty good, some pretty good play around pallets. But unfortunately, that for Tech, that is going to be the last generator popping, and we are going to see a W, the win for Team Praxis on this first Oni set. And I liked it. We had some. Obviously, a little bit of a quicker match for the survivors of Praxis. They were able to get those generators done I think that down came in just a little too slow to really get a better win condition. Sorry, a better result here for Tech, but some pretty solid play, and yeah, nothing to look bad on. Again, the survivor play by Team Orison was fantastic. So I'm really hoping they take that through to the next set. Speaking of, let's uh, let's talk about the next set. So we have another AHL balanced map. We are going to be having the Unknown coming in on RPD East, and so the rule this time, Jules, is of the two add-ons the Unknown brings, they have to bring the ORI OSS report. And let me explain what that is to our lovely viewers. When you teleport, you leave behind a decoy. When you teleport to one of your hallucinations, you leave behind a decoy. With the OSS report, the decoy lasts an extra 10 seconds. It also lets you teleport 5% fast, like you have 5% faster cooldown on your teleport. You leave behind your decoy for an extra 10 seconds, and you leave your terror radius on that decoy. So when you teleport, you're going to leave behind a terror radius, so you might not actually be able to call out to your teammates that the teleport has come in. So very interesting.
Mhm. Yeah, having some undetectable rules in these upcoming AHL sets. This is a new one for me, though. I gotta say, not the Unknown, the RPD. I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever cast a match on RPD, um, and I actually haven't watched one on the DBDL stage either. So, definitely an uncommon thing for us. I know I'm a bit newer to the DBDL casting team, but at least from watching it, it's a little bit newer. Um, and newer for other leagues too. This is not a common map for a good reason. It's a very tough map to navigate as the killer. There's a lot of god palettes, a lot of very safe rooms. As the Unknown, which is a bit of a weaker killer, I think you can kind of just pre-drop and run away and get the weekend off of you. However, those narrow hallways sometimes good for getting some undodgeable shots. A little bit difficult to dodge when you can only go forwards and backwards. But yeah, the whole pre-drop thing is and the god palette thing is just gonna be a pain. Um, but we'll have to see. I mean, this is uncharted territory for me, so I'm excited to see it. But we are gonna be starting out with Team Praxis on the survivor end first, Team Orison on the killer. Once again, we have Laser and Sokka. We have Manu on the killer. Once again, we have V1 and Ward. I think the exact same survivor lineup as before, but Manu switching out for Team Orison for the unknown killer, um, as opposed to Tech from earlier. So let's see what Manu can do.
love to see it. Love to see it. So the one thing I do, I'm not advocating for RPD in comp, by the way, normal comp, by the way. So when I say this, take this as when we do see the one thing I do like about RPD, or in from a killer's perspective. Pardon me. The one thing I will say is that there is a lot less RNG on RPD. There are a few rooms where the palette could be here or the palette could be there. There's a few rooms where there are some set god palettes, like sort of in the corner. Actually, sorry, we're doing east, so it won't be that one. I was thinking about the one in the corner, on the west wing. But like obviously the stairs is a god palette that is always there. But you'll see different palettes in different places. When you get to the 3-window room on the right side of main, if you're considering when you walk in the front door of RPD, that 3-window room there can have a really strong palette or a really weak palette in the corner. So there is a little bit of RNG, but in general, I can tell you exactly where every single palette is on that map before we load into the match. So the killer can know going in a little bit what to expect. Survivors can too, but the killer is able to kind of understand, maybe plan ahead and know where the best place to strike is, where the best place to pin survivors to get some UVX orbs on them. So we'll have to see what happens. We are loading in right now. Like you said, Manu on the unknown. Let's see what's what.
Yeah, starting off, we have Ruin, Devour Hope. Some interesting perks that might come into play later, but heading off into the map, we already hear a terror radius from the survivor perspective, and we see a hex totem, I think, from Laser's POV as well. But that's going to be some aura reading from Scene Partner. Our first chase is our new survivor. I love seeing our new survivor V. She's excellent. But we'll be taking a window here, taking chase, and yeah, this might be a weekend coming out instantly. Actually, yeah, very very good shot by our killer. But once again, the God palette just able to drop, run away, and it's hard for the unknown to follow up with a shot. Uh, is this gonna be it? Oh, barely, no. does have to deal with another god palette and will be continuing chase, but the weekend is unfortunately for our killer gone.
I think I would have been a little bit more patient there if I had been Manu here. So the one one advantage we didn't for the killer we didn't talk about loading in. Oh, unfortunately, hit that lamp on the wall there. Who put that lamp there? That lamp is not built to code. The one thing we didn't talk about is the fact that we're doing an indoor map where we can. Where we're going to be having to go through these narrow hallways and whatnot. It's going to be harder for the survivors to break out their weakened state. This is going to be a hard shot because it's kind of downhill. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't get the damage there, but once these pallets are gone, it's going to be a lot easier to get those. Yeah, so like that's a bad example because we're in a big room here, and Laser had plenty of room to do. I can't believe that looked like it hit Laser's skill. But yeah, back in that first chase against Ward, we probably had time to be a little bit more patient because I don't think we'd had time to stare down the killer because we were zigging and zagging through different hallways. Sorry, I'm so caught up in the action, I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, good.
Well, regardless of your train of thought, that is a first hit under Hinata there. That was a very good hit, and he's actually going towards the garden area. Probably just gonna be choosing this as a good place to die, but wasting as much time as we can in the meantime. Oh my god, that was very, very close. Does not come through. He has resilience. Might have helped him a little bit there. I wonder if that would have been a hit otherwise, but it's hard to say. He actually does make it to that front area most likely. Looks like the pallet is in sight, and we will be heading straight for it. It'll be close, but he does make it. We do get another weekend onto him. And yeah, playing this pallet is a tough play for the survivors actually. Okay, he's gonna be dying under it because of that, and we do see a survivor nearby. This is not our sprint burst survivor, however. A flashlight?
No! What? Oh my goodness!
No way.
The front desk, I guess, has a taller hitbox than it seemed. That looked like that was dead on. And we got a little bit of the flare start, and then it stopped, and it just didn't happen. That's so crazy because in my head, I was like, yeah, no sprint burst. There's no way she makes it around as long as you kind of stick your back sort of into the behind the desk area. There's no way V gets around the desk to do it. But unfortunately, we stared down the survivor with the flashlight, but get away with it. So, all right, that's fair. We'll take it. We take those. That is our first hook. Very, very quick unhook on Laser. A third gen pops. We got a little bit of progress there. And we're looking around. This is not the safest place to be in the world. However, I'm sorry, I didn't see. Is Laser bounce landing?
Yes. Laser is bounce landing.
That would explain.
Yeah. So not the safest place, but with bounce landing, you are totally fine. You have the rest of the map to work with. And Claudette, once again, stuck in this area. I think she just choosing to take the hit because that would be a weakened injury, and you want to take the M1. But barely
my goodness,
that was frame perfect on our Claudette. Very well played by V1. He has no exhaustion perks available to him. He is our sprint burst survivor and already used it, and that will be a down onto V1. The second stage, honestly, I don't know what a good win con for Unknown on RPD is, but getting 2 stages by 2 generators is not bad. It's a little pathetic to say, but for the Unknown, it's not bad. This killer is so bad.
The killer's popping off. 2 hooks already. My goodness.
2 hooks. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. And
so I'm not
back
sure.
into the main area now, but
Did I miss them break Devour Hope? I see it's not lit up anymore. I think they must.
No. They still have it. They still have it. Devour.
Oh, we're not
one of the
anymore.
one of the weirder hex totems where it only lights up if you're far away from the hook.
Right.
It doesn't light up.
We only
if
have
it's
2
available
stacks
or
of
not.
it though. So
I think that might be Devour gone now though. That might have been Devour gone.
That was it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, unless that was Rune, I'm not totally sure. We'll have to see in a second when we switch POVs. But oh my goodness, B1 kind of catching the end of that weekend, and we'll be going down with the 3rd hook, but the the final gen here is about to pop as well. I think the survivor's choosing to play it a little bit safe though and just leave for now. Our Unknown is very, very aware of where that generator is, and leaving behind that remnant. Yeah, that's the OSS report. Terror Radius coming through, and we're taking chase now. He's weakened and injured. Might be taking it down here.
So I don't know if you saw that, Jules. Sorry. That was an instant teleport to a hallucination. We didn't see it on screen, but what happened was because you saw Ward, the moment that hook went off, Ward got into the weakened state. What happened was, sorry, Manu instantly teleported to a hallucination that was being cleansed. Ward got, then that puts them in the weakened state and then got tagged. And that's why Ward went down so fast. That's a huge turnaround because this is a fresh hook in endgame. That's really huge. It's right by a door, which means, I mean, you can go stand in front of that door over there and just, well, okay. I was gonna say you could have potentially stood in that door and waited. I think you just maybe wait this out. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. That was just a really good prediction on the teleport and an unfortunate play by the survivors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, regardless, we are still in endgame, and oh my goodness, was that a dead hard? A dead hard by Ward coming through.
Wow.
Does get the men state, but the weekend does not down him. So it's gonna be lasting a little bit longer. Does he make it to the front area? We have one healthy survivor, which is Laser, able to body block. Zaka probably not the best to body block as he is our only fresh stage, but Laser coming through. Yeah, here's Laser now. Gonna be maybe trying to get a body block, but he does manage to dodge. That's gonna be a down, actually. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Andrew, what's going on?
I know. My heart is like pounding right now. This is huge. Such a crazy end game. We know that was V. Sorry, V's on the ground, right? V had the flashlight, so this is Ward gonna get hooked. It's not over yet. They could reset and get this hook here. The unfortunate reality is we were in such a good place to camp this hook out, and now we're fighting to not let them get away, right? If we had stood in front of the door, like the door going into RPD, we could have potentially body blocked them from coming in that direction and faced where we saw Zaka come down the stairs. It wound up working out, but now they're in a better position to get the save here and get out the door. So we're gonna have to see how this plays out. I don't think it was necessarily a mistake. Literally, the unhook came in so fast. I think they just got caught Manu out by surprise. But can we? Yeah, they're going for it though here, Jules.
Mhm. Yeah, they are. I think every hook stage counts here. Especially with the door so close, it's definitely worth it to pull this. It's very doable, very possible. Especially with some good exhaustion breaks. I think V1 still has sprint burst. Yeah, you can see the sprint burst is available now, and our two survivors, Ace and Hinata, are going to be going in for the unhook. We do have that additional speed from No One Left Behind, so V will be getting a bit of a speed boost and a faster unhook speed. I think our killer wants to go for our ace, but I think that will be an out regardless. He definitely makes that doorway. Yeah, 5-stage game. I don't even want to say that's a bad result. I mean, that was pretty explosive in the end game, I think. Very well played in the end game by our killer there, Manu. So yeah, we'll have to see what they do there. This is gonna be tough. This is gonna be tough for both sides. It's a 50-50, I think.
I just want to go back to that teleport there right after that hook on sorry, I forget who it was in main there. It might have been Laser. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the teleport, instant teleport over to Ward, getting the instant injury followed as well as the weekend and the quick recovery. If we don't get that, the reality, if that doesn't happen the way it does, the reality is we're at a 3-hook game at that point. We wound up getting 2 more hooks and another fresh hook because all that happened. So really, really heads up play by Manu. Maybe a little bit of a hiccup by Ward. Maybe the community, or not necessarily just by Ward, but communication of how fast that hook was going to come in and be able to instantly teleport. Maybe we didn't see what happened, so it might have been like frame perfect. We were just about done cleansing the hallucination, and the teleport came in. Unfortunately, we can only go based on what was on the HUD because we were seeing the quick unhook coming in there. But regardless, really, really heads up play. Either a mistake by the survivors or a great play by the killer, but it wound up resulting in, like you said, 5 hooks. I've seen worse. I've seen worse on Unknown. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
I've seen worse on Unknown on every map, to be fair, and RPD is tough for him, so this is gonna be tricky, like I said, but I mean, regardless, no matter what happens, we are gonna be going into the Mastermind later. I'm excited for that one. That tends to
Mm-hmm.
be a few more hook stages. On Lava Pit, though, it's weird. A lot of these maps today are a bit are a little bit odd. Um, we have some special AHL rule sets, and we also have third priority for our later gold standard balancing. I'm just talking about that just because we have a little break in between the sets while we get players loaded into the lobby. But I I don't know, this is, like I said, my first time casting RPD, so it's just so hard to figure out what to do on it, and especially a killer that isn't normally a stealth killer, since we have
Mhm.
this strange balancing for AHL, having OSS report turns him into a stealth killer kind of, but it's not, like, permanent like Trail of Torment is until the gen gets touched at least. Uh, it's just for a few seconds, so the players are able to play around it a little bit better, and RPD has those nice, line of sight hallways that you can kinda predict the killer coming from, or see the killer coming from rather, and I don't know. It's just it's just a unique map. I'm happy we're not on West at least. West is West is definitely the worst
West
of the
is
2,
rough,
for
yeah.
me, and probably for our players as well, but
So
RPD is still tricky.
I said this earlier. So the way that the map is picked, we have 5 indoor maps available for most if not all of the AHL balancing, the special balancing for the special matches. What happens is both teams ban one map, and then the team that pick the set gets to pick it. So Orison end up Manu probably obviously is the killer. Probably picked that was the one who picked that map. Now I don't like to play favorites, and obviously Praxis has got a lot of really solid players I like, but I'm an underdog. I do root for the underdog, and you kind of mentioned it, and I think I'm going to take a second here to tell our viewers, for those who haven't looked in the Discord, what the balancing is. If we go to the 5th set in the entire AHL tournament, if we go to the last set, so in the best of 7, go to game 7, and the best of 5, go to game 5. Today, for instance, it's going to be Doctor on Wrecker's Yard, but there is a special rule, and I'm going to read off what's going to happen. Is if we get there, we will do a raffle on stream, live on stream, so nobody, not even us, know what is going to happen. Here are the potential. It's basically going to be a gold standard balance, but with a special rule, and I'm going to go over them here. Here are the 5 potential rules, Jules. Sorry. Uh, First, the
Thank you.
killer must bring Haunted Ground, and the survivors must cleanse the Hex Totem before the first generator is completed. So you could do generators, but you cannot pop a gen until you pop Haunted Ground. So it's all going to be about timing and breaking that totem. The second potential rule is the killer must bring Ruin. The totem may not be adds their only hex perk. Only hex perk. They can't stack hexes. And the totem may not be cleansed. So permanent Ruin. The third one, the survivor team is not allowed to drop any pallet until the first down happens. All windows, nothing else. All right. The fourth one is the killer may only bring corrupt intervention. No other perks can be brought on killer or survivor. So 1 perk for 5 players, absolutely wild. And the last one is the survivor team must replace one of their perk builds. One of their perks on one of their builds must be no mither. So no mither. I never know how to say that. I think most people say no mither, but I've always said no mither. Anyways, very interesting. So I'm desperate to get to a 5th game today, Jules.
Yeah, I know you said you're rooting for the underdog. I'm just rooting for whatever gets us to that 5,
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
Um So, yeah, I guess in this case, I'm also rooting for the same team because I think, Praxis won the first set, right?
They did.
But we do see our survivors and our killer loading into the next trial. Once again, gonna be on the RPD, the East Wing, and this is a 5-staged icon, 5-stage 3 fresh. A tough ask, but, we'll have to see what our killer does. That's Zaka on the killer now. Zaka, a very good unknown player. I've seen some great stuff come, from their unknown games, and we're loading in with a pretty crazy build. This is a build that I would expect from a lot of killer players in a less strict rule set, and we do have a less strict rule set here, so Zaka choosing his perks wisely here. But we already see him searching around the right side for a survivor, maybe dropping down. He doesn't find anybody yet, but there are definitely a lot of survivors in this area, so I would not be surprised if he finds somebody soon.
So we had Arima there doing a little bit of what are we?
Oh, hello.
That is it's a sprint first phase. Okay. I was gonna say we saw Arima very patient but doesn't hit. Winds up hitting the sort of top stair there, and that doesn't infect Arima with the weakened state. So Arima's gonna continue the chase down here. Gonna probably head into that armory room. I think this is the armory room. You guys have to excuse me. I've never actually played Resident Evil 2. The pallet is in the unfortunate spot in that room. This one's a good pallet though. Good dodge out there by Arima, not going to get the injury. Yeah, in the armory room there, it's on the outside wall, the outside of the map wall, so you can't drop the pallet and then leave. So that's a little bit of unfortunate RNG, but again, just the different RNG here. This is the bad pallet in this room too. And apparently, Tech says, no, there's no such thing as bad pallets, just bad players. And Tech decides to go. Tech decides to go for the play there. Gonna take an M1 though.
Yeah, taking an M1 much more favorable than taking 2 M2s to the face. So he's going to be taking a lot of distance there, at least in the unknown killer, that is. And I think we're still in chase. Yeah, we're going to be following him. We do manage to dodge that weekend out barely, but he does take the window. We have a lot of god pallets available in this area. We saw in the previous match they got dropped pretty fast. I would expect they get dropped now. Yeah, there's a hallway pallet they're getting dropped now, and he's heading back up the stairs, but weekend applied now. He's in a little bit of danger. This is tricky. This shot has to land by Zaka, but weekend is almost over. Oh my gosh.
Do we make it out? No.
Down. No, this is a down. A very good chase to start off with. We see 2 gens getting popped for it. Pain res available, so we'll be getting most likely a pain res hook, but RNG on RPD with the pain res hooks are a little bit tough. Okay, DMS applying as well. Yeah, that's pain res DMS. I don't believe he actually used the pain res token for the first hook there, but DMS at least gonna be applying to Hanato's gen. I think a good decision not to use the pain res, as we had very little gen progress.
I wonder if that was just the biggest heads-up play in the world by Jer there, on. Oh, tries to bang it off the wall. I think we're still gonna get the injury, but not the weakened state. And we didn't kick this pallet. That's not a strong pallet if you're down there and the killer is able to walk around the outside of it. But when you're coming down the stairs or up the stairs, it is very much a god pallet. Now the reality is Unknown can also. Oh, good teleport though. Good teleport. Get it down, Arima. The Unknown can use that as a place where you can stick someone. You can hit someone with an UVX orb stuck in an animation. So I think that's why we didn't see it kicked. By the way, sorry, I was saying, I wonder if that was just the biggest heads-up play in the world by Jer, DMSing a generator with 0 progress. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I want to say it was, and I want to tell Jer.
Yeah, maybe. We do see another DMS activate. That might be a result of the faster cooldown on DMS, which recently got changed. Yeah, you can see how fast that cooldown is now. Technically, officially a nerf, but in some cases, depending on how fast the downs come through, it could be a bit of a buff. We see multiple DMS coming through, and we know that the 2 survivors were also healing on that upper floor. They healed very, very fast, and actually just evacuated the area. That's going to be an unhook coming through onto our ace as well. Both survivors in chase now, as the Unknown was very close nearby, but getting that unhook for free was very important for our survivors, and that's going to be a 3rd fresh hook taking chase now. I think we actually chose to leave here. Yeah, we're going to be going to the outside area, chasing Dwight now. Another fresh hook, and we'll see what he does with it.
Because we missed that UVX orb, so we're just going to kick and move on, apply eruption and move on. Waiting on our teleport. Oh no, we're not waiting on our teleport. Sorry, we were waiting on our hallucination to drop right by that generator. Sorry. So we had a really good first chase, and we had really good gen progress. Things are slowing down a little bit. I don't disagree. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing that it is. Okay, we teleport back out and see. Nope, did not manage to come back. And see, now the fun part is, we can start cleansing hallucinations because the hallucinations are on cooldown right now. Now, the OSS report does get the hallucination back, the teleport back a little bit faster, but not like, it's 5%, I believe, so. Or it's 5% or 5 seconds, I apologize. Regardless, it's not a massive difference, and you can see the survivors well aware that the teleport came through, and they've cleansed a few of these hallucinations, and now Unknown is going to have to clip-clop around the map and not teleport.
You know, Unknown, when he gets a good result, it's usually because survivors make a big mistake, maybe cleansing a teleport at the wrong time, getting a crazy weekend, and the survivors are all healthy. Okay, I say that as he takes a hit, of course, all healthy. Is that going to be a down? That might be the mistake Zaka needs. I think that is a down. That's another stage onto Arima. But yeah, like I was saying, just needs to come with some mistakes to get a good result, like even 5 stages. And the survivors, up until that quick down right there, have been doing a very good job of staying out of the unknown sites and just keeping safe, keeping unweakened. With that second stage coming through onto Ace, might be a bit of the momentum that Zaka needs, but he is kind of patrolling this area. Getting a kill onto this Ace would not be the win con, but would be good for him regardless. Would be a 4th stage and a 3v1. So that might be what he's trying to do here. We are still at 3 generators, but another one is going to be popping in a second from Hanato, and another one soon from Claudette as well. And that's like kind of close to the hook as well, but I don't think Zaka plans on venturing out too far. He's still kind of patrolling this area, given the generator next to it is very high on progress.
A dodge, man, like really solid dodge. This is scary. I wouldn't be working on this gen. That hallucination's right there. That's terrifying. I guess if you go for the undead, are we trading? I guess we're trading so we don't die, and we can't really. Yeah, I was gonna say we can't really leave the Okay, thanks, Ace. You can't really leave the survivor there because we have Dwight Iona in the. Oh, that was a pain res, unfortunately. I was gonna say you can't really leave the survivor slug because you know they're gonna get instantly pulled up. So if you go for that, but why is Ace still here? I know we came back. Like, okay, I have to listen. I don't like to say definitively that was a mistake, but we had a bit of a meme with the flashlight to the back of the head, and then for some reason we're still there. That is, Arima is very lucky to have got out of that safely. It's not like we have one gen left and it was a bait to try and kill the Death Hook survivor. Like, there is still plenty of gen progress needed. They are very lucky. They are very lucky. I'm gonna say, Arima, you are a very lucky person to still be in this match, and I think that was almost a meme death, and I'm not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. Sorry, don't mean to be overly harsh, but we're chasing down Iona. We're gonna get a, thankfully, not a full trade here. And but we are getting dangerously close to this win condition. We are at 4 hooks, 3 fresh. So 1 more hook will be the tie, unless it's an Iona, in which case it will be the win. No, that's gonna get Jared down. Are we gonna get these generators done though? This is the tie condition, but they have to all get out the door after this. All of them. Jared has to get saved and they have to get out the door, Jules. This is scary.
And they're all injured. If this gen gets DMS, it's over, but I think he's gonna pop it. Yeah, he's gonna pop it. Hope I see activating on Ace there, but they're all injured. Just 1-1 could end the game. Given it's a Tycon now, we're gonna be pulling, but this chase is so important. We're using our base KPT to block for our Ace Scanty here, but that front main pallet, we know is very, very unsafe. This is kind of a death trap, and yeah, he's gonna be just W keying away from it as a result. Heading back to it, kind of still a little bit risky, but okay, Zaka does miss that M2 there. There's a teleport! No! He dead-hearted! He dead-hearted to try to avoid it, but that will be a down. Do we get a flashlight save, maybe? No, no.
Oh, my heart is broken right now. That was so close.
That was so close.
Everybody injured, no one can tank a hit. Like, good job there by Jared to just use nothing. There's nothing you can use at that, but there's a garbage pallet, and that's about all. And it looks like Arima's also going to get caught out here. But oh, that was so close. My heart is hurting, Jules. That was so close. This was so well played by both sides, but yeah, it's going to end up being, I guess that's going to be a 7-hook game here.
Yeah, when some of the best teams in the world face off against each other, it's 5 or 6 stages of battle for 5 or 6 stages on the unknown. That will be another down actually onto Arima, but I mean the game is already won. We have 3 on Hanato, 3 on Ace. That's gonna be a Mori, a nice little Mori to end off the game, and then 2 extra hook stages on the other 2 survivors. But yeah, this side is going to Praxis. They're taking 2-0 lead, a little 2-0 lead, and heading into the Mastermind set in the lead, which will be good for them. But I mean, I know you said that this team is the underdogs, but they are holding their own in some of these sets. They're doing an excellent job. They had a unfortunate hiccup with a very, very tight 3-gen in the Oni set, and a tiny battle for the last couple of hook stages in the unknown. But they're kind of impressing me a lot. I've seen this team, Team Orison, in the past. Obviously, I've seen Praxis too. They are very prominent in DBDLeague and other leagues as well. But Orison has proven a lot, I think, in the last bit while they've been a team. So we'll have to see. This Mastermind set is a Praxis pick, but I know that they're both comfortable on it.
I also, so I was saying when I first started the first set today, it's interesting, like, you know, if you were a betting man, if you're a betting person, betting woman, betting whatever, if you were a betting person, obviously you probably bet on some of the more experienced teams over the less experienced teams. But that being said, one, this is double elimination. Orison definitely is putting up a huge fight. This is amazing. Like, they're doing fantastic. They're standing up against I would argue 5 of the best players in the world, or 4 of the best players in the world, I guess, have played today. But they're doing fantastically. But it's not over. I'm not counting them out. I'm counting on a two wins in a row for Orison. We're going to go to that tiebreaker. But that being said, if they end up losing today, they're going to go to the lower bracket, and they still have another opportunity. And it'll be really interesting to see who can persevere and who can come back from that the adversity of losing their first match and come back. So it ain't over yet. And I'm not counting them. I'm definitely not counting them out. Like, we went 2-0 previously. Earlier today, we had Ariandel versus Payne, and Ariandel won the first 2 sets pretty handily. So going into the third set, we were kind of presuming that Ariandel would probably come out on top, and they did, in fact. Good effort by Team Payne. But this one has been a lot closer. In theory, I guess the score in the first match was not as close, but the effort was there. Really, really well played on the survivor side, a really strong play on the killer side. This one came down to a nail biter at the end. So I'm hoping to see some really good things here. Wesker on Suffle Pit, Jules. This is an interesting map. It's not one we usually see Wesker on, but it is a map we see frequently. So do you have any sort of insight into strategy on this other than just typical Suffle Pit strategy, which is valid too? You can talk about that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, typical Suffle Pit strategy. Identify your 4-gen, identify your 3-gen. Try to corral survivors into that side of the map if possible. It's a very it's a bottleneck map, right? It's one of the maps like ARP where you have a kind of a difficult cross. You have to be careful about when to I don't know, trap yourself on one side of the map, because that can be a little bit difficult to get out of. But with Mastermind, he's not too able to hold that area, not crazy able to hold those gens like Plague is, for example. Still pretty decent at holding gens if there is not too much RNG or anything like that. He's not a weak killer by any means. But yeah, Suffo Mastermind, I believe we saw a bit of it in the qualifiers. There were some 4Ks. There were some 4Ks on the Suffo Pit Mastermind, and I think a lot of it was a result of those like dead zones, those tight spaces. But yeah, some of these recent maps that we've been seeing have been unusual killers. Like I said, on unusual maps. We also saw artists on the Suffo Pit. There was a 4K in that one too, and that just came as a result of artists just being a great zoner, able to zone survivors onto the top side, bottom side, whatever. I think that was Chads versus Starro, if I remember correctly. Was that matchup? I didn't cast it, but I did watch it, and
I'm a Chats fan, so I watched it too. Yeah.
yeah, you saw that one. So it's fun to see, yeah, these new killers on maps that we're a bit more used to, and now we are out of the All Hallows League balancing. We're into the more gold standard balancing, so a bit more what we're used to. Even though it is an unusual map, it's still third priority, with first priority being the coal tower. Yeah.
In what you're saying, it's interesting. Artists to me, like on Suffle Pit, is not, we don't see it all the time, but it is like ARP and Suffle Pit are the two sort of like the bottleneck maps, like you said. So it's not unheard of. I actually think that top level play, and I again, it all depends on how everybody plays. It's going to depend on a lot of things. I think that Wesker's going to struggle a little bit more on this map, just purely based on his mobility. Plague you brought up, which is a really good example as well. Plague is interesting because even though not a mobile killer, you have a lot of basically permanent injuries on Plague. So going, if you have a hook on one side of the map, let's say you have a hook near Shack, and you don't have a survivor on Shack's side to come in for the save, you can find yourself really struggling to find your way and get someone over there to get the save, and you can really hold that cross, hold that middle section, and stop anyone from coming over to save. Wesker's not going to be able to do that as well because we're going to have more healthy survivors. We're not going to be able to close distance as quickly as you would with someone like Blight or Cool. So I think we might struggle a little bit. Ward has done a good job here, identified the fact that we had survivors coming up to the top side here. Looking at the generators real quick, we do see a pretty solid 4-gen near the main building top side of the map here. So this is definitely where the killer wants the chase to be. This is not where our survivors want to be. As things stand right now, they're going to do their best to try and break line of sight, get to the bottom side of the map, get down towards Shack side, and definitely not die up this side of the map. Very strong pallet here. That looks like that's going to be a hit and a throw, I believe. I didn't see the. I think we're rocking. That was a jewel beetle. I'm assuming, because of the throw there. Oh, we could have got a swing there, but we were a little bit hesitant. And Iona manages to stay alive a little bit longer. But how long can we stay alive?
Oh my goodness. That is
Innocent
Manu.
bystander.
Yeah, Manu catching the Ouroboros there and gonna be taking chase now. He is healthy though. He didn't get thrown into anything, so he's doing his best not to get thrown. Yeah, look at that. He's like, I am not getting thrown today. You are not getting that two tap. And we'll be heading instantly to the bottom side of the map. We saw Corrupt completely covered all 3 bottom gens, so we know, given that all the survivors. Oh my goodness, that was a really good down, by the way. Wow, well played. But yeah, given all the survivors are working on generators here, we know that they're all topside because those were the uncorrupted gens, and I don't think Manu managed to make it far down enough maybe to, yeah, he's gonna be dragging him topside. He didn't make it far down enough, and he will be hooking over by this generator. Will this be a pain res coming through?
They didn't know they let go because of pain res. They got it! Okay, this is bad because he got hit. They didn't know because they were worried about the pain res coming in, but that's actually massive. They got 2 gens done this side, so the hook on this side of the map doesn't matter as much. Now they gotta stay up this side of the map and go get the gens done by Shaq. This is really good by Team Orison. Like, they're doing fantastic right now. Great gen progress.
Yeah, the gen efficiency. It's incredible here, and I thought it will be another down on Manu. So unfortunate chases, but the gen efficiency here is out of this world, I think. I did not expect them to get 2 generators done. That wasn't even the longest chase. It was a decent chase for sure, but the gen progress was not what the chase matched up to in my eyes. So I'm just wrong there, I guess. And Orison's proven me differently. But a second stage coming through. We do see a generator over 50%, but I think this will be another injury. 2 injuries.
Perfect. He almost died there. He was like,
yeah.
He almost got doubled, and yeah, wow. Sorry, 2 injuries is huge. You're right, but that was almost a death. That's crazy. This is interesting. We've got bottom side. We've got sorry, who is it? Iona is on the gen down there. It's interesting. That's where the chase. This is where the progress needs to be. Is down this bottom side of the map, the Shaq side. But with 2 injuries up top here, like my thought would be, we'll hook up here. Ward will go down to Shaq's side to try and stop the generator from being completed. But he didn't, and Ward went after the survivors up this top side. And I mean, if you wind up getting 2-3 downs up this end of the map, I mean, it doesn't matter about the gens getting done to the other end of the map. You're gonna get a slugged out 4K here. So this is a scary situation for the survivors to be in. They're doing really well, but they're in a scary, precarious situation right now.
Yeah, they did have a lot of gen progress, and another gen did pop, but they are about to enter the 3v1 with only 1 healthy person. Good job by the survivors to heal up our Claudette there, but you usually, as a rule of thumb, want to be in a 3v1 healthy. Being in a 3v1 injured is not the best, I think. And, I mean, it is the Mastermind, and it is the stuff of it, so it is a bit of a stronger map, and Orima proving that by dropping that pallet earlier and sending it away from the main building, so the injury not mattering too much, given he didn't give a fast down. But it still does matter in the long run, and we see a lot of gen progress still. Our survivors are not slacking by any means still. Dwight working a generator bottom side, I believe, and Ace heading to the generator that already got completed. We see that this gen already popped by 7, and that is where he's taking chase. But I think our Mastermind knows that and is going to be dropping chase going on to the survivor that has a bit of trend progress over here and swinging through the pallet, but does not get a very, very good stun by our Dwight. No smash hit or anything coming out, but this will be a down, I think. Yeah, wow. A down, a third, a 4th stage, a second fresh hook. Possibly a painless.
That was a great dash. Like, those rocks are really hard to get angles on, and I would say that Ward was probably as tight to that rock without getting one of the infamous toe subs, you know, when you stub your toe and get sort of stop the dash. That was probably as tight as you can make it to that rock. So clearly Ward knows the angles to take on pretty safe pallets. That's a pretty safe pallet in general, but managed to pull it off. Now, what's going to happen next here? We need to go down for the save, but obviously, yeah, I was going to say, well, Ward sees the rotation coming in from Ace here. So now this is actually scary. Arima probably should have stealthed out a little bit. Never mind. Okay, sorry. I was gonna say, yeah, no, Arima maybe should have stealthed out a little bit so that way we didn't get. Oh wow, that one misses. Because now you've got a situation where Tech is trying to complete this generator and Arima is on this pallet. Oh goodness! As soon as this gen pops, Jules, he's gonna know where everybody is.
I actually think he already knew though, because they did reset and we know Ace was topside, so we know both of the survivors were topside. The only thing that Arcletta could have done is rotate for the pull, but now, yeah, with that info, we know she did not rotate at all. That will be Dwight going second stage. Ace taking chase as long as he can, but I think our Wesker knows. Yeah, I mean, You really could just cut off the rotation from our Claudette going bottom side, given she did pop that generator top. I wonder if that's what he's gonna be doing here. Yeah, he knows they're both top. He's just holding the middle, and that generator main building is at 0%, so you can't even start working on it. I don't think you managed to get it done before it dies, or before it dies, before Dwight dies. I'm sorry for calling Dwight it. My bad, my bad. But yeah, just excellent macro play by our killer here, to keep both of these survivors corralled towards the top side of the map. Arima might have been trying to sneak his way bottom, but I don't know if he even got there. Yeah, we have him in our sights.
Yeah.
So
I don't.
that's a tough ask.
I don't like what the survivors did here. This play seemed like when sticking that generator for another hook state, it seemed like they were resigning themselves to 4K1. That's what it felt like, and I really hate this. They're gonna be in the 2v1 here. Like, Arima should have stealthed again. You know, I'm not trying to, throw shade at anybody. I'm just saying, like, as in an analysis situation, Arima should have been more stealthy, cycling over for the save. Unfortunately, got caught out, and then as soon as Arima got caught out, Tech should have been beelining for the save as well. If the killer goes for it, you can then rotate around and work if they hold the cross like that, then you can work on the generator. But being the chase sort of in the top left side, on the left side of main, and then the generator being on the right side, there was plenty of room. Good. Arima's having a great chase, but I just feel like the decision to let Iona die, this might end in a 4K1, and I don't think it had to. Yeah,
I mean, he did have a very good chase here. I'm impressed by that. He didn't even drop Shack Pallet and chose to greet it, given he knew he needed to have a very long chase for that generator to pop. There's a lot of progress left. And Claudette pre-stealthing. Do we find her? Very easy to pre-stealth with a generator very far top and a generator very far bottom, like we have here. But I think Zaka knows that she's pre-stealthing somewhere in this area, trying to find her. If our Claudette is found here, it's over. Our survivors splitting that top gen and that bottom gen perfectly, but it all rests on can Zaka find her here. She has sprint burst though, so even if we do find her edge map, she will be able to make some distance away, and maybe not get tagged immediately. I think it worked. Andrew.
Yeah, she got so she had fixated and sprint burst. So fast walking, leaving no scratch mark, got well away. Now Arima needs to do the same thing. It's gonna be harder for Arima to stealth, given the fact that Arima is injured. But look at with windows of opportunity, Arima is giving us the bird's eye view, or the real highlight of how many resources are here. I do not like that greed. It worked out so far, but I hated that greed. We might die for it now.
He might. Oh, he misses though.
We don't make that. We don't make that. Close. They're gonna get the gen. Oh, they're not gonna get the gen done. Eruption goes off. No. That was eruption and no, not pop. So that's a 4K1, Jules. Oh my god. Yeah, greeting God palette. I'm sorry. I've seen the most. I'm gonna go off for a second here. This is not talking about any one person because it happened on multiple teams with multiple people. I have seen the most egregious palette greeds I have ever seen in competitive Dead by Daylight on today's stage, and it is blowing my mind. You greed God palette when you're in a 2v1 and your teammate is cranking the gen on the other side of the map? That is absolutely insane. I cannot believe that just happened. I'm sorry, I'll stop harping on you, but I really hope we go back and look at the tape here and go, this is where things went. This was a wrong decision, because that was a wrong decision. Throw the pallet, man. Come on. All right, I'm done, Jules.
This pallet, however, already thrown. And Claudette's gonna be taking chase now on it. We aren't choosing to break it yet though, but Ward will be in pursuit. She's just actually leaving it, I think. These instant flicks by Ward have been very ambitious. He's gotten a few of them. It's very impressive when he does get them. So very, very good Wesker play coming through, but did miss that one, unfortunately for him, and is going to be taking the last chase onto Claudette. Yeah, he's trying some fancy stuff here in the last chase, and yeah, exactly. Why not, right? And Claudette will be dropping that pallet now. Still taking chase topside, but will he try another? Okay, this is a very difficult pallet as Wesker to play around. To be fair, this is like, even with egg, even with unicorn medallion, even with whatever add-on Ward has. I didn't actually see it when we did switch perspectives to him, but we'll see it in a second. Even with like good add-ons to play around it, it's still difficult. Ooh, Claudette dodging in there, very, very good dodge. I wonder if she'll be able to make it back up the map. maybe get the hatch for some brownie points, but of course in DBDLeague it does not matter if you get the hatch. It's still a 4K1 flat. No extra points are awarded for an additional escape if the gens are not done. So she's just playing for a nice little 1v1 just to watch, and she's doing a good job too.
Yeah, some of the best chases today have been in this situation where it doesn't matter. This is textbook. Wow, good juke. The no-look juke. My goodness. This is textbook like me, OutcastAndrew, playing Dead by Daylight on Survivor. Only time I juice up is when it don't matter no more. Really nice chase though. Where did Ward go? Ward went the exact opposite. Was that intentional? What happened? You hung a Larry when you needed to make a Randy there. I don't know what happened. It's a good chase though. Well done by Tech. It's really unfortunate. Again, I feel like maybe there was a bit of a comms breakdown earlier with that. Is this going to be the one? No! I'm going to get hatched! A little bit of comms breakdown earlier about going for that save or greeting that gen. I really think that they threw away outs by letting Ionut die on hook there, unfortunately. Really unfortunate, but really well played. Again, I don't want to take away agency from Ward. Some really nice dashes and nice flicks on there.
Yeah, Ward with excellent Wesker play. I've seen Weskers on top a bit before. I've seen Ward play Wesker before. I think I've actually played against Ward's Wesker, and I got absolutely destroyed. So he's an excellent Wesker, and did a good job of getting a 4K1 there on the Suffolk pit. And we are going to be heading into Team Praxis on the Survivor end, and Team Orison on the killer end. I wonder which killer it'll be. I think we've seen two different killers, and I think we're seeing Manu again. Manu was our unknown player in the previous matchup. So that will be fun to see, and it's nice to see some multi-talented killer players for these teams. But yeah, I mean, do you think that a 4K1 on the sub-a-bit Wesker is expected, is above average, below average? Below average, I think, is a little bit of a stretch, but what are you thinking about the results for this one?
I think that Orison is in trouble. I even just very clearly, based on how that match went, Orison should, again, I don't want to harp too much on it, but Orison should have got outs. They absolutely should have got outs there. That was an error. That was a unforced error there to stick the generator instead of going for the save. As a result, like there's plenty of room. We were chasing on the far side of main. Our Claudette player could have just run all the way up the end of the map and got the save. And now you've got a top and bottom situation. That was a 2-out. That was two survivors out the door is what we should have seen. I don't think. Again, Wesker goes back to what I was saying earlier about like the difference between. Sorry, that might have been previously when I was talking about Ghoul set before you came on today. But I was saying that really, when it comes to top level Dead by Daylight, there's two kinds of matches. There's matches where the agency is on the survivors, and the matches where the agency is on the killer. The killer agency are the S tiers when you have insanely strong killers like Billy and Blight and whatnot, and and Nurse and whatnot, where it comes down to the killer needs to be extremely well mechanically. They're going to put the screws to the survivors, and the survivors have to get as much done as they can before they die. The majority of killers in Dead by Daylight, it's the opposite. It's purely the game of Dead by Daylight can be described as this: survivors make decisions, and the killer tries to force them into making mistakes and then capitalize on those mistakes. And Wesker's one of those. If the survivors play it perfectly, there's not a lot Wesker can do a lot of the time. Obviously, really sick dashes around like Ward around those rocks. But the reality is, if you play smart, if you play right, if you die in the right places, it's sided. The survivors have the advantage against the majority of killers, and Wesker is one of those killers. I think, sorry, this is a long-winded way of saying that I think that Orison's in a lot of trouble here. Getting a 4K on Wesker on Shuffle Pit, I don't think should be expected. But killers have been playing really well too, so we'll have to see how it goes. I'm not trying to count them out, but I'm saying this is an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm. An uphill battle for sure. And I hope we're gonna be seeing some more insta flicks coming out, just like Ward was doing, just for my sake. It's kind of fun to watch. Wesker, one of those killers that has so much you can do with it. And on some of the tougher fillers though, like Suffo, it's a little bit trickier, but definitely still possible. We saw in the previous matchup there were some fillers that were proving to be a little bit difficult to play around with Wesker's power. There's two dashes that go in a straight line, right? And if the filler is not the correct shape, I guess it's playable a lot of the time, but it's hard. So Wesker, definitely a high skill, very mechanical killer, mechanically demanding at least. And we are going to be heading into the match now. We're in the offering screen now. Manu and the killer, like I said, and a 4K1 Tycon. If they lose this set, if Team Orison loses this set, that will be a 3-0 to Team Praxis. So everything kind of resting on them either tying or winning here. If we do tie, we're going into one of the special AHL tiebreakers, and 4K1 typically a result that is more tieable, I think. Usually stages out is less tieable just because of the nature of how stages work. And yeah, loading into the match now. And already off to a good start. Seeing Saboteur instantly, I know that is a new allowed perk. Just to remind everyone, sabotaging is not allowed. It's just to see hooks. It's just to see hook auras on the map. So
It shows
yeah.
you Scourge hooks too, right?
Yes, it does.
So
And
that could be actually
we do have Scourge hook available. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, build is identical, I believe, to the last one, which is a corrupt intervention and a whole bunch of regression. Good attempt there, does not come through. So this first chase is gonna be very key. The last match we had a down at exactly 2 minutes. Very patient. Going for a throw. What's happening here? We are going for a throw. There is a pallet nearby, but is it nearby enough? No, there's also that pallet. I was looking at the one in front of me. I didn't know where the pallet was in Shaq. All right, okay.
Shaq in this match getting dropped instantly as opposed to the last match. I don't think it got dropped ever, right? So
a big difference. I had a rant about it.
Yeah, I don't think I could forget. But yeah, that's gonna be kind of edge mapping up. We're in the corner of the map here, taking chase. This is a palette that is one of the newer palettes actually added in the recent Suffolk update, and kind of a 50-50, definitely a lot safer than some of the riskier palettes that have been added recently. But yeah, we're gonna be playing it kind of just dying in the corner now. This is gonna be a down, I think, with an M1 through the palette, or even a grab through the palette. Wow. But the first gen popping in the meantime.
That is going to be, if I saw right, it's going to be about minute 30. Sorry, I thought it was a minute 45. It's a minute 30, so faster. Wow, just look at it's so interesting looking at the two different teams. Faster down this time, but lots of gen progress. Well, you know what? Actually, that's not fair. They had 2 gens done at the end of the first hook. Remember that one popped right. They didn't get a pain res, so that second topside gen popped right away. So this is a better start for Manu. Again, though, even though it's a better start, the issue was the mid game, the 3v1. This is I don't expect to see Praxis make the same decisions or lack of decisions that we saw. So I'm a little bit concerned. The unhook comes in on ward. We see Zaka finishing a second generator. There are 3 gens down. Okay, so this is scary.
Oh.
Ward he's got Iron Will, so he ain't making noise. I think he gets away with it. I don't think do we head on? Or yeah, he knows. Wow! What a heads-up play! That's wild that he guessed. That's wild. It still got the head on, but that's wild that he guessed.
No pun intended there. Heads up play. But yeah, no, we do see the down coming through. A very fast redown onto Ward. He's going down in the center of the map. That is very much the correct distance to get him back to the bottom side of the map. And I think the survivors just kind of 3-splitting this area. Yeah, we do still see a 3-gen on the bottom side. I think we have to play for a tie here if you're Manu. I don't think you can really hold those topside gens. They're so far away. And yes, these downs are coming through pretty fast, considering the skill of these players and the difficulty of this map, the killer, etc. But still, it's some great gen progress, and it's so hard on Suffolk to branch out to the other side of the map and get any pressure on the survivors working those topside gens without losing your tunnel out. And I mean, Manu did a great job of finding his tunnel out. I probably wouldn't have even checked that locker, to be honest. But he did a great job of finding that there, and it's just can it be replicated though on the survivor end, and can it be replicated with them breaking that 3-gen on the bottom side? Can Ward get to the top side of the map for his tunnel out chase, I think, is the real question.
Very good question. I wonder, in a world where Manu doesn't bait the head on the first one, do we head on? Like, do you know what I mean? Like
if you're not showing that you're looking for the head on, do we just stay quiet in the locker and not head on, and then maybe Manu turns? This is a woulda, coulda, shoulda dream scenario, but I'm wondering what would have happened. So it's very interesting. Yeah, this is coming down to we might be dead on. We're dead. So close. We're gonna get ward off. Look. We got 2 injuries. Okay, so going back to what you said, by the way, I think this is a tie. Yeah, I think if you go for the win, you lose. So there's no way there's no win condition here. If we had gone for the win, we would absolutely have lost. So we're not going for the win. I think we just kick this pallet in zone. Kick the pallet in zone. Nope, not gonna.
He's gonna get it
Got
down.
him and kills him. No,
No.
no, didn't flick closer to the wall, and we're gonna get away. This is a 2 window tile. We're gonna make that window.
Oh,
We don't have any either.
goodness,
It's so heartbreaking.
Andrew. That was so close. Wesker being Wesker might have just cost him the game there. But yeah, in the meantime, we see V1. Look at the progress on the gen. They're stacking it now. And Laser just taking the hit just so that we don't get that extra down. That's a men state onto ward, but the men state is not a down state and does not prevent that gen from popping. I think that will be at least a 4K0, most likely outs, and a 3-0 win for Team Praxis. A very well played game, but Orison fought so hard. So hard for that
was
last
such
hit.
here I am saying no, kick the pallet. Instead goes for the dash, hits the dash, needed to flick to the left like another 15 degrees, and we would have thrown against the edge of the wall in the middle of the map there. But instead we're going to see 3 hooks on board and maybe another down. But yeah, that's going to be the Praxis moving on to the round of 8, and Orison going down to the lower bracket. So Orison will have one more chance to make it to the finals, and Praxis will continue on clean. I mean, again, I've said this 10 times today, but if you had to put bets, you're going to bet on the invitational and on the qualifier. But for an invitational versus a qualifier set and a 3-0, that was closer than the scoreboard shows. That was a really well fought match. Yeah, really good to see.